Hi everyone, welcome to my segment. I'm John, I'm an estate planner with PFP Legacy. Today, my segment is going to be on LPA, Lasting Power of Attorney. Now, I'm not going to bore you with all the legal theory of how LPA come about, but I'm going to share with you today in a very simple and layman methods for you to understand what is LPA, why is LPA important, and why I should plan before I do out my LPA. Now, firstly, what is an LPA? LPA is a legal document, comes in two forms, Form 1 and Form 2. Alright, generally, I would say that most of my clients, will go for Form 1, which is already sufficient. But however, there's a handful of clients with family complications or business owners, that would prefer Form 2. Now, let me share with you a little bit of difference of what is Form 1 and Form 2. Today, I'm going to do an LPA. I'm considered or deemed as the donor. Now, if I empower or appoint somebody, the person would be my donee. Alright, so I'm the donor and he or she would be my donee. Alright, so Form 1 is very tailored. Okay, it's very structured, I would say. It's like a template. Right? However, Form 2 would be more like a wish list. I would say Form 2 is like a wish list is because Form 2 you can actually put in restrictions, okay, of what your donor should do or should not be doing. But however, Form 1 is pretty straightforward. Okay? Now, what is LPA Form 1 and Form 2? Okay, what is the authority that's given? Okay, so first and foremost, authorities is given to the appointed personnel to act on behalf when I lose my mental capacity. Yes, LPA, Lasting Power of Attorney, will be activated if the donor loses mental capacity. Alright? Now, the authorities is categorized into two areas. First and foremost will be the personal welfare. The personal welfare side will cover on the healthcare decisions, the accommodations, where I should be staying, and what is the people or who is the people that I should be seeing. Okay? And the other side would be the financial affairs. Financial affairs is, that means to say that the donee should be able to manage my investments, my finances, my savings, my insurance for me. Alright, so for LPA Form 1, today most likely, today we're going to cover most on LPA Form 1. Alright, so for LPA Form 1, I can actually appoint two separate donee. Donee 1, could be my spouse. She will be able to handle my personal welfare. Okay, however, donee 2, if I appointed another person, say my sister will be the one handling my finances. Right, so I can also appoint a backup, a replacement donee, to replace any of the donee who is unable to act. Alright, so last but not least, in my personal opinion, LPA is something that is easy to complete, but it's difficult when it comes to executions. Why do I say so? In order to complete the LPA, firstly, I will need to see the certificate issuer. Okay, in Singapore, if you go to the OPG, Office of Public Guardian website, okay, there is a list of certified GP, general practitioner. You can approach or you can call in to make appointments with any of the certified GPs, to endorse your LPA. First cut. Second one will be the psychiatrics. Last but not least, like I mentioned earlier, LPA is a legal document. So certified practicing lawyers will be able to certify the LPA as well. So once the LPA is certified, you have to mail in to OPG, Office of Public Guardian, to register in order to have legal effect. Alright? But however, it's difficult when it comes to execution. Why? Okay, because if imagine this, if your LPA requires to be executed, you have lose your mental capacity. So when you lose your mental capacity, you won't be able to make your decisions. You will not be able to even recognize your family members, your loved ones. And the person that you appoint will have to step in to make all the necessary arrangements for you. Okay? Now, you may think, sitting behind the camera, the device, you may think that, I'm young, I probably don't need LPA. Maybe my parents require the LPA more. Yes, of course, because you may think, or we may all think, that losing mental capacity due to old age. But it's not true, alright? So there's one example here I would like to share. It's cited by Aviva Insurer. It mentioned that a lady at the age of 23 was involved in a car accident. Because she doesn't have an LPA, after the accident, she was reduced to vegetative state, and her father will have to go through a very lengthy and very stressful process, to the court, to apply to the court to manage all her finances and her affairs for her. Right, that we call that deputyship order. For a person who loses mental capacity and do not have an LPA, in order to manage the finances or make decisions for the person, the family members will have to go through the court to apply an order called the deputyship order. Alright, but however, if I've done my LPA, the person who I already appointed will step in and act on my behalf immediately. Alright, so why do I need an LPA? Because nobody can predict the future. A simple accident like a fall and illnesses, old age, will be able to take away our mental capacity. I really feel for this reason is because I have a family member that is living with dementia, who is my father. I will share more personal example and personal experience later on. Alright? Now, to ensure family harmony, I believe every one of you will agree that family harmony is very important. If I do not have an LPA and I lose my mental capacity, I believe my family members will fight among themselves to see who should make the decisions for me and what kind of decisions should be made. And I'm very sure there will be a lot of arguments, a lot of disputes among the families. Right. The next will be protecting our interests. So if I don't do an LPA, nobody will know what I want. Nobody will know how I feel, And when I lose my mental capacity, even my spouse step into the picture, she is not me. She wouldn't know what do I want, what does John likes, what does John's preferred, and take care of our liability. I believe many of my clients, including myself, we have loans, we have outstandings, we have installments. If today I don't appoint anybody to manage my financial affairs, and if I loses my mental capacity, who will be able to help me to take care of all these liabilities? The last thing I want is to lose my mental capacity and be sued bankrupt by the bank. Am I right? So next will be eliminating stress and difficulties faced by our family members. Okay, and also avoid the trouble to apply the deputyship order through the court. Last but not least, if I have done my LPA, if I already appoint my donee, I can live with a peace of mind. Hopefully, I stay healthy and nothing will happen to me, right? Okay, another example here mentioned that why we should actually plan before we do our LPA, right? Because essential part is the medical care. Imagine this. If I don't plan or if I don't express my wishes or my intention, and I just appoint, my spouse or my cousin. I'm very close with my cousins. Anyway, from here, I would like to give you an example. All right, my cousin, we basically grew up together. So one fine day, she called me and she told me that, hey, John, I want to appoint you as my donee. Because in the event, if I lose my mental capacity, I want you to manage my welfare, my finances for me. I was like, okay, fair enough. Because she is the only child. Her parents are in old age. And she's a young, successful lady. Staying alone in the newly purchased condominium. Right. So I asked her this question. How do you expect me to manage? Because you appoint me, you see. So the first question I asked her is, how do you want me to manage your welfare for you? Then she told me, you didn't fit lah. So I asked her another question. So in the event, if you really lose your mental capacity, touch wood lah, where are you going to stay? Are you going to continue to stay at your place, or do you prefer me to find a nursing home for you? You see, because I am doing this as an estate planner, I'm practicing this planning day in, day out, you see. So when she wants me or appoint me to be her donee, I want to find out more from her. So I keep asking her questions. She told me, my house so beautiful, I spend tons of money renovating my house. Of course, I want to stay in my comfort place lah. It's a no-brainer. Why would I want to stay pay so much money more and stay in a nursing home? So I was like, okay. So the next question I throw to her is that, you see, I can't be here 24/7, right? Yeah. So I will need to engage somebody to assist you, to help out, Yeah. And the finances part, yeah, so she was telling me that, yeah, everything is kept in my drawer. Yeah, on the right side of my bed. Yeah, all the necessary documents, the insurance that you can find is all there. I said, yeah, but that is beside the point. Finances is taken care, but the question here is, imagine you lose your mental capacity. Are you comfortable staying on your own with a stranger walking in and out of your place? Are you okay with that? That actually get her ponder. Yeah, she stunned for a while and she said, hey, I haven't think of this. Yeah. So my point here is, if you want to do an LPA, please plan first. Plan out a wish list, I would say, or some instructions that you want your donee to act for you. Yeah, you don't throw the ball into the donee's court and expect the donee know what to do if you lose your mental capacity. Am I right to say so? Right. Okay, this example, yeah, was shown just a couple of weeks, maybe last 1-2 weeks ago. Yeah, for Chinese audience here, if you have followed a Taiwan variety show, yeah, you may be familiar, yeah, with this celebrity. He used to be a judge and a coach, yeah, for a singing variety show. And due to a fall in 2020, he was reduced to vegetative state. Okay, and okay, prior before this, a little bit of history. Yeah, he was struggling with some medical history, and he was wheelchair bound. But when he was back at home, when he struggled to stood up from the wheelchair, he slipped and fell, hit his head, and reduced to a vegetative state. So that is beside the point. The point here is also mentioned that his celebrity friends is helping him with the medical expenses because he doesn't qualify for any welfare subsidies by the government. Yeah, and the savings is running low. Yeah, therefore the friends came in to set up a fund for him, yeah, to maintain his medical expenses as well as the standard of living. So this is one very important thing to plan for, you see, because I really truly feel for it. Yeah, I will share with you my example later on. Yeah, towards the ending of my segment, I will share with you my personal experience. All right. Now, what is advanced care planning? Like I already mentioned previously on 2 slides before, yeah, planning ahead is very important, and we call that advanced care planning. So what is advanced care planning? Firstly, advanced care planning is launched in 2010. All right. It promotes total welfare, personal welfare, personal wellness, all right, and allows personal preference to be made. Now, I give you one example. I am the only child, yeah, and I am funding for my parents. My dad is living with dementia. My mom is old age, 75 years old, married without kids. Okay, my wife, she is doing fairly well in her career, and therefore she is posed to Hong Kong, and I haven't seen her due to the pandemic for the past 2 years. Yeah, so we only Zoom and make calls. Yeah, so she's always staying in Hong Kong, yeah, for the time being, and I'm here in Singapore, right? So in the event, if anything should happen to me, if I lose my mental capacity, yeah, I would also appoint somebody that is close and dearly to me. Definitely not my mom, because I don't believe my mom will make decisions that is not emotionally affected. Yeah, she will make decisions that is emotionally affected. Yeah, she will not make rational decisions because I'm her only child. Right. So assuming I appoint my cousin, who is very close to me, to be my donee, and if I lose my mental capacity, does she even knows what kind of food allergy I am to? Yeah, she probably wouldn't know. She probably would think that, okay, some food is good for my health, and she continue to feed me with those kind of foods, you see? Yeah, so this is a very minor but important aspect that one should take note when we plan for advanced care. All right? So last but not least is one important thing to let you know, that advanced care planning is not legal binding. However, if you have some burning issues, some concerns, you see, that you would like to spell it out to legal bind it, then we will advise you to go for LPA Form 2. Because LPA Form 2 is able to legal bind your intentions, your instructions, into the form. Okay? So, why do I need advanced care planning? Okay, there's a few areas that we covered in advanced care planning. First and foremost would be the healthcare. The healthcare decisions. If I appointed a donee, the donee has full rights to make any healthcare decisions for me. Okay, so in situation like this, do I have any preference? Do I have a preferred doctors? Do I have a preferred a regular doctors that I'm seeing? So if I do have, does my donee knows about it? May or may not, If my spouse probably, if my spouse cannot act on my behalf for whatever reason, and my backups, which is the replacement donee, comes in, does my replacement donee knows about all this? So wouldn't it be good, if there's a reference that I can actually spell it out, that my donee can take reference to, right? Financial costs. I shared with you earlier that my dad is living with dementia. So a background story here. I have to engage a helper, domestic helper, to take care of my father. Because we can't handle him because it's myself and my mom. All right. So I engage an external helper, a domestic helper, to assist him day to day. And because of old age, okay, after having dementia, the health decline. And because of old age, he is now required adult diapers. And the medications. And he is more or less, I would say, bedridden. He can't walk around because he physically weak. So in situation like this, he used to visit doctors from the hospital, a regular basis. So nowadays, he can't go to the hospital. So we have to engage the doctor for home visit. So there's two specialists he's seeing. First and foremost is the cardiology, because he do have some underlying medical heart conditions. The other one would be the neurologist, on his dementia condition. So the two doctors will take turns to visit him every month. So assuming January, the cardiologist will be here, February, the neurology will be here, then followed by the cardiologist again. So every visit, I would say, it will cost me about $350 to $550, depending on which doctor is coming in. And that is apart from the medications. All in all, I will tell you, I did a financial check myself. Every month, the monthly expenses range from about $1,700, including my helper, to $2,000 on a monthly basis. So 1 year, easily, the financial cost is about $20,000. And my father has been in the stage for the past 7 years. So if he goes on for the past another 5 years, 10 years, do your math. Calculate how much additional expenses will be required. Now, a lot of us will be looking into the future, planning for our retirement. But many of us will neglect the fact that long-term care is also very important when we do our retirement planning. All right? So I encourage every one of you guys that is watching this segment here, when you want to do your LPA and you think it's important, look into advanced care planning, work out the finances as well. Because this is really, really long going, okay? And the government really see this, The government really see this because dementia is getting younger, the age are getting younger, as well as it is getting more and more populations, elderly, is living with dementia. And therefore, they actually comes out with this CareShield Life under the CPF. So this is something that you should explore. This is something that you should explore because it will address our long-term care concern. Okay? Next will be the welfare. Yes, of course. Welfare is very important. If I can able to express, I have one client, interestingly, I can share with you, I have one client, in fact a few, particularly one that mentioned that because she's a very staunch Buddhist, and she always go to her temples to help out and always be there like 3 times, 4 times a week. Sometimes, when she's free, she will be there like 7 days a week. So she actually mentioned this, to spell out in her wish list that if she is still able, mobility-wise, if she's still able, she wanted, even she lose her mental capacity, she wanted to go to the temple on a weekly basis, at least 2 to 3 times a week. Yeah, so she expressed this in her so-called the advanced care planning, the wish list that she wants, so that her donee that she appointed will know that, okay, I'm going to try my best, to provide for my aunt. Okay, the donee is her niece. Yeah, is a friend of mine. Yeah, so the donee will try her best to accommodate as close as possible, to her wish list. All right, like I mentioned earlier, advanced care planning, it is non-legal binding. All right. Next will be business. Business owners out there. What if you lose your mental capacity? How can your business continue? Do you appoint somebody to manage your business aspects for you? And therefore, why I mentioned Form 2 is important, you see, because firstly, for our welfare, personal finances, we normally appoint our close one, our family members that is close to us. But however, does my family members, my spouse, my children, are they also involved in my business? Can they help me to make business decisions? Therefore, LPA Form 1 will have certain restrictions when it comes to business owners. Because I have clients that does LPA Form 2 business owner, because he needs to appoint a business partner to manage or make business decisions for her, whereby her own personal and finances and welfare is managed by her own family members. All right. So last but not least will be family and social concern, right? Who you should see, where you want to go. I have clients that actually mentioned in the advanced care planning worksheet, that he wanted to continue to engage in some activities. And what kind of activities is according to his hobby, his interests, which was spelled out in the advanced care planning workbook. So that his donee, in the event if he loses mental capacity, his donee will know what is his preference. Okay? All right. I mentioned earlier, my dad living with dementia. So now here I am. I'm going to share with you my personal experience. I engaged a helper to take care of him, because we can't handle him, I mentioned earlier, right? So after working with us for 2 years, my helper wanted to take a break, a 2 weeks break, to go back to Indonesia, for holidays to see her family. And then she will come back and continue to work with us. Okay? So in the 2 weeks, what's going to happen to my dad? I sourced around and I get him a nursing home. So I got to check him in to a nursing home, admit him to a nursing home for 2 weeks stay. Okay, and I approaches AIG. AIG. Unfortunately, I am not under any government subsidies. And therefore, AIG is not able to assist me further. However, they actually gave me a list of a nursing home that I can actually approach. I can call in to approach. So I found one pretty nice environment for my dad. Okay, this is something I wanted to share. You see, let me show you the corresponding email between the home and myself. All right, thank you, John, for visiting the home today. So they confirmed the admission date. Admission date is 22nd of July 2019. And the day of discharge is 5th of August 2019. I always like to share this during a proper seminar, to ask my participants, how much do you think is the charges for 14 days stay in a local nursing home? Some will share like maybe about 1,000 plus, some tells me like 8,000, 10,000. Of course, not that one is too much. All right. So for a 2 week stay, 14 days, I have to pay $3,691. If you ask me, is it a lot of money? It is not a small sum for 2 weeks. And if you want to put him, my dad, if I want to admit my dad for a long-term stay, like months or even years, this financial part is something that is a real concern. It's a very real concern. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, if you are planning to do up your LPA, plan your finances as well. I hope that you don't throw the responsibility to your family members, to your donee. and do not have anything to plan for to take care of yourself. All right? So this is something that I would like to bring across. It's very personal to me, but I want to bring this across, to tell everyone, that LPA is important, but planning for LPA is even more important. Now, speaking of which, does my dad has LPA? The answer is no, he doesn't. Sad to say, he had dementia. He was diagnosed with dementia before I came to know about all this. So this is something that is very important, and it has always been out there. It's just that we probably don't know, and we don't really go and read up about it until something happens to us or something happens to someone around us. Okay, so I want to take this opportunity to encourage every one of you to understand the importance of LPA and probably plan out LPA and go get one done. All right, before I finish up my whole presentations, I'm going to share with you the misconceptions between a will and an LPA. Because a lot of people always ask me this question, but I've done my will, It's a totally different thing. Okay, what is it the difference? Okay, first and foremost, on the left-hand side, you'll be able to see, the function of the will. The will be able to enable you to express your wishes, allocate your estate after you pass away. For LPA, it's different. LPA allows you to appoint a trusted individual to make decisions for you if you lose your mental capacity, but still alive. So effectiveness is for the will will take effect when you pass on. But for LPA will take effect if you lose your mental capacity. So is it necessary to register our will and LPA? For the will, it's optional. You can choose to register your will, with the will registry. But for LPA, it's a requirement. It's a must to register your LPA with the Office of Public Guardian to have legal effect. And lately, I've been receiving questions like this, that, they have done their LPA like a few years before, but after listening through, they may want to make amendments, changes to their LPA. Can that be done? The answer is yes. A fee is required. Okay, LPA is a legal document, and once it's registered with OPG, it's locked there. So if you want to do a revocation of your LPA, the procedure is you have to send in the revocation form and attach a new LPA Form 1 in order to mail in to OPG. Just with the form to revoke the existing LPA, they will not accept. I've checked with the OPG Office of Public Guardian, that this officer advised me that, no, if your client wanted to revoke the existing LPA, your client have to send in a new LPA to replace it. To revoke at the same time replace. A fee is required, a very small fee is required. And for your informations, doing your LPA is one thing, register your LPA is another. So please don't get it confused, right? Singapore OPG, Office of Public Guardian, has waived the registration fee for all LPA Form 1 for a Singapore citizen, till March 31st, 2023. So this is the best time. We have 1 year down the road. This is the best time to get your LPA done up, register with the OPG, and it is free of charge. All right, not the certified part. The certificate issuer will have a different charges depending on which certificate issuer you go to. All right, I have come to the end of my sharing. I thank you so much for these opportunities to deliver the importance of LPA here. And thank you for your attention.